What is going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. And today we're going to look at the Jason Taylor trade, which occurred back on July 20th, 2008. Now, basically, in 2007, the Miami Dolphins had the worst season of their franchise's history, as they went 1-15. As a result, they decided to kind of shop around veteran defensive end and future Hall of Famer Jason Taylor. Now, Taylor had skipped voluntary workouts to be a contestant on the TV show Dancing with the Stars, and this upset the team's president. A trade was almost worked out immediately, but it would fall through. So the Dolphins held on to Taylor for an additional 3 months before Washington came knocking. The Commanders had lost a pair of defensive ends on the first day of training camp, and they decided that they wanted to bring in the veteran, Jason Taylor, as he was the best available option to help out, as the free agents just they weren't what they wanted. So how did this trade work out? We're going to start by looking at the Washington Commanders. Now, they got defensive end Jason Taylor, and Taylor regressed in 2008. He would record 29 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. However, he did add an impressive 9 passes defended. Now, after the season, he refused to participate in off-season conditioning programs, and Washington's like, all right, you know what, enough is enough. There's a reason Miami got rid of you, and we see it, so they decided to cut him. Clearly not the best. Now, the Dolphins got a pair of draft picks in return for Taylor, the first of which was a 2009 second-round pick, which would become the 44th overall, and the Dolphins would use it to select quarterback Pat White. Now, White was a very successful collegiate quarterback, but there were a lot of concerns about how his game would transfer to the NFL level. He entered 2009 in a quarterback battle, but he lost out and became the third-string quarterback for the Dolphins. He would attempt 5 passes as a rookie, but he failed to complete any of them. He did, however, rush the ball 21 times for 81 yards. So he was essentially like a dual threat, kind of like Tim Tebow before Tim Tebow, because Lamar can at least throw the ball a little bit better. So he was released after only 1 year on the team as he failed to show any improvement with his accuracy as a passer during the preseason. So Miami's like, all right, enough is enough. No one really took a chance on him after the fact. Now, the Dolphins also got a 2010 6th-round pick in this trade, which would become the 174th selection. And they would trade this back to Washington in exchange for moving up 11 spots to the 163rd pick. And with that pick, the Dolphins would select safety Rashad Jones. Now, Jones would spend his rookie season as a reserve, but he did record 1 interception and 21 tackles over 13 games, 2 of which were starts. Now, he would win the starting job for the 2011 season, and he had a decent campaign. But he really started to step up in 2012, as he would record 94 tackles with 4 picks. He held out and would agree to a new contract prior to the 2013 season. And, with the money behind him, he kind of responded with a career year. He had 107 tackles with only 1 pick, but he did return that to the house for his first career pick 6. Now, he ends up getting suspended 4 games for, having PEDs, but he said that it was a supplement that he had taken from a former college trainer of his, and he failed to check with the league to see if it was an okay supplement to take. Now, he had another solid year upon returning, as he would record 80 tackles to go with 3 picks. But his real career breakout year was in 2015, as he posted career highs in tackles with 135, interceptions with 5, passes defended with 10, sacks with 2, and touchdowns with 2, both of which came via interceptions. Now, in 2016, he had 51 tackles to go with 1 pick over 6 games before he would tear his rotator cuff, which ended his season early. He would play well in 2017, registering a pair of picks with 122 tackles, while also returning a pair of fumbles that he had recovered for touchdowns. Now, in 2018, he recorded 3 interceptions and 72 tackles. And he would appear in 4 games during the 2019 season, recording 27 tackles before going on the IR. Now, he was somewhat surprisingly released after the 2019 season for cap reasons. All said and done, though, he was a 2-time Pro Bowler for the Miami Dolphins. So we're going to jump back here to discuss the Washington Commanders. So they did trade with the Dolphins here, and they got a pair of picks. So the first of which in 2010 was the 174th, which they would use to select tight end Dennis Morris. Now, Morris was traded to the St. Louis Rams before the season began, and he was traded for defensive end Hall Davis. And Hall Davis was cut after a single day of the pre-training camp just because, they brought him in. They wanted to see what he could do. He didn't do what they hoped, so they got rid of him. Now, they also got the 219th pick in 2010, and they would use this to select wide receiver Terrence Austin. And Austin would spend 2 years on the team, but he was mostly used as a special team player. He would catch 15 passes for 184 yards while adding 3 tackles as a gunner on special teams. But he was cut prior to the 2012 season. So the only other team we have to look at is the St. Louis Rams, who got tight end Dennis Morris. And Morris would spend some time on the roster, but he did not record any stats for the Rams prior to being released. Hope you guys enjoyed this. This was the Jason Taylor trade. Not the most impactful trade in NFL history, but definitely an interesting one since it did involve a future Hall of Famer. Have a good rest of your day.